A true story that happened recently that you can check with Google if you want to. A couple in their 60s from Ohio were on their very first day of their trip to Cancun. The husband started feeling pain in his midsection. Then a little while, he started to get sick. So they got in touch with an on-call doctor at the resort. The doctor came in, and after an examination, the doctor determined it was a gallbladder issue. Soon, the husband would be lying on a gurney in the hospital with the clock ticking on whether he was going to live or die. There's definitely more to the story, and you just will not believe what happened to this couple, and hopefully it will never happen to you. Stick around to the end of this video to find out what happened to them. After a lot of research and talking with experienced travel insurance agents, I want to give you 5 tips for choosing the right travel insurance policy. Alright, the number 1 tip for choosing the right travel insurance policy is to have a pretty good idea of the complete details of the vacation so you know what coverage you need and what coverage you don't need. You can save money by tailoring your plan for what you actually need covered. Is there going to be a large group going?
I hate riding with a large group!
Are you bringing valuable property? Are you going to do something risky like crazy adventuring?
Crazy adventure.
Do you have a medical condition that might be a problem while you are away? There's so many policies for so many different things, and it's really trip specific. So these are the things you need to think about ahead of time so you know what you're going to get covered and what you don't need to pay for. Number 2, this seems pretty obvious, but don't just rely on the quote of the first insurance company you talk to.
The first one you said!
It's important to compare multiple quotes before you buy a policy. You have a lot of options to choose from, so do a little bit of shopping before you decide. Real quick, before we move on to the next 3 tips, my name is Eric and welcome to my channel, Palm Leaf Travel. Hopefully I can be your go-to source for everything travel related to Mexico and the Caribbean. Please take 1 second and hit that like button if you feel this information has been valuable to you so far.
Those are valuable.
Pre-existing conditions are typically not covered by the basic emergency medical coverage offered by travel insurance companies. Now, sometimes your pre-existing conditions will be covered when the insurance company reviews your medical records to see if your condition has gotten worse in the previous 2 to 6 months. And if it hasn't, then they might cover it. But your best bet is to buy a separate add-on.
What add-on?
A rider to cover pre-existing conditions. Number 4, don't skip this. Do your due diligence and check the fine print before you buy a policy. You don't want any surprises if something should happen while you are on your trip. Take the time to read through your policy so there isn't a painful misunderstanding. Tip number 5. What happens if your laptop or phone gets stolen while you are on vacation? What if your medication or anything else for that matter gets stolen? Each insurance company is going to handle it differently.
I'll handle it, Peg.
So make sure you find out what they will cover under these circumstances. And speaking of medication, this is a bonus tip, and this ties into the couple from Ohio I was talking about earlier. Choose a policy that provides 24-hour emergency assistance. If you need help with a medical episode, or you need help with identity theft issues, or replacing medication, a lot of insurance companies have emergency hotlines where you can receive help from these situations 24 hours a day. Okay, those were my 5 tips for choosing the right travel insurance policy. Now back to the story from earlier. So after being diagnosed with very large gallbladder stones, the hospital refused to move forward with the procedure until he came up with the money to pay for it. Apparently they wanted $35,000 to do the procedure.
That's a lot of money.
To make the story brief, they were able to come up with $19,000 and friends and family had to pitch in for the rest. The procedure went forward and he did end up recovering. The good news is that the couple spent $250 before the trip for travel insurance and was covered up to $50,000. If you found this information valuable, hit the like button and subscribe for a future video on my top picks for travel insurance.